Hey man, this is Rob Lee from Mastermind Team's Robcast on mtrthenetwork.com. And what I'm here today is to talk to you, fine folks, you cats and kittens, about Mastermind Team's Robcast. It's a podcast where myself, Rob Lee, and Dan D break down the latest in weird news, pop culture, and entertainment. We're available on all the major podcast platforms, including Spotify, Podbean, Apple Podcasts. And what we like to do, we like to get into some of the major stories that have happened in the week in the vein of pop culture and in the vein of entertainment. And when we hit the weird news, we like to hit the weird news in a segment we call New Challenger, where I challenge and test my friendships. I hide and I nest really interesting, really odd, really strange stories in a kind of Russian roulette sort of way. I'll give my buddies a keyword pertaining to the story, and I'll let them choose it. Usually there's a dick joke in there, or spiders, and Dan's arachnophobic. So check us out every week on all of the major podcast platforms, Spotify, Podbean, Google Podcasts, all of that stuff. And that's Mastermind Team's Robcast on mtrpodcast.com.
Yo, what's shaking? What's shiggity? This is Rob Lee from MTR, the network, Mastermind Team's Robcast, and all of that good, delicious stuff. And this is Getting to the Truth in This Art. And my guest this week is noted DJ. I think I wrote down like booty or ass advocate.
Yes.
I put that down as a title. I have Ducky with me today, guys.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for being on. So back into that conversation.
Okay.
So yeah, we're not even going to start off with the weird questions because I've learned, like, in the last 2 episodes I've gotten feedback. It's like, yo, that's a weird ass question you asked me. Like,
it's good to jump out there with the weird though.
All right.
But you know what?
Yeah.
What was I talking about? I know what I was talking about. So what happened was, glorious listeners.
Yeah.
I asked if there were any rules to this show. Like, can I say bad words and things like this? He's like, what you mean? Like, yeah, it's me. No, there ain't no rules. Do whatever. I'm like, cool. And I told him I had to ask because once upon a time I did a interview for a Baltimore Sun podcast. It's called Female Trouble. Mm-hmm. And, man, it was so much fun. It was one of the best. It is the best interview that I got to do. Yeah. And in the beginning, you know how, like, much like we were just doing, we're on air and we're kind of prepping. Yeah. And it's like a kind of conversation, recording, testing levels, whatever. I just kept cussing by accident. And full disclosure, much like now, I was pretty stoned. So that made it a little, no, I was less stoned than now because it was the boss punchline. So I was like, let me get my shit together. But that's not like new or strange. Yeah. So it was, it was like, okay.
Well,
but I'm glad that I have no shackles to censorship here.
No shackles.
So I don't have to think that hard.
It's the running bit. Like, I'm going to say it. It's going to be on my epitaph. It's going to be on the shirt. We're going to get canceled for some of the shit I've said like 10 years ago. And I'm going to blame Dan because he's a white guy. I'm like, look, man, this is making up for all the bullshit that your people have done.
The whole time, due to the fact that Dan is white, he can get you out of it. Yeah. That's how that works.
It's like what Dave Chappelle said. Every crew has a white guy.
That's right. On their own, they're screwed. Sorry, but not, But no, if you pair an adjacent white with any person of color, especially a black person, especially a black man.
I don't know, when you said
so safe.
When you said pairing, I immediately thought food. I was like, what would go well with this? I'm like a curry.
Okay, I was gonna say, what goes well with this delicate white man? That's creepy.
He's like white rice and I'm curry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Maya, do you approve?
I do like curry.
See, there you go.
Curry's good. You can't go wrong.
Shout out to Fire Island on Monument.
Shout out to Fire Island.
Food.
So since you touched on it, there's no shackles. One of my weird questions, it's a James Lipton related question. James Lipton inside the actor studio, he died recently.
Oh, yeah, rest in peace.
His question, one of his questions was, what's your favorite curse word? Yeah.
Cunt.
Really? Say more.
It has been for a while.
It's
it
4
was
letters?
fuck.
Okay.
Because F, like, it goes with everything. It's the most powerful of verbs.
It's like the color black.
It's just fuck. And it can be anything. But if you're going to use a pejorative term, and most of the time, profanity is pejorative. Like, if I'm like, you dumb fucker, you're like, whatever. Okay, we're beefing. Yeah, but you dumb cunt, hold up.
That has staying power.
Ow, it hurts.
Yeah.
it hurts, and I don't know if it's just because I'm a woman or what, but ever since young Ducky learned that word, I was like, geez, that's the one. Especially because you don't hear it that much.
Yeah.
Maybe, I guess that's a British folk thing. They throw that around a little bit more. But, yeah, I'd have, that's probably it.
My girl throws it out there on occasion, and I'm like, I look back, I was like, they say you're the nice one. I was like, I'm supposed to be the dick. I was like, I'm thinking fucked up things. You're just saying that in your polka dot dress.
Like, being cute?
Looking like a Bratz doll, and it's just like, yeah, cunt, this cunt right here. I was like...
No, let me tell you this. You said that and it reminded me of this. Okay. So one of the funny things about cunt is that it's so derogatory. Like it's
good.
nasty. Like it's just like ew. Like how blue collar, classless. But it's a really old term, right?
It is.
And much like, unlike I guess, I mean, old terms, like some stick around and some don't.
Yeah.
Some lose their meaning and some don't.
Some get rebranded.
The best one to me, and no one knows about it, and it's one of those where, you know how like there's a random word that'll just crack you up for no reason. I was like, why the fuck is that so funny to you?
Yeah.
It's like, don't worry about it. Mine is broad.
Okay.
Do you know why?
Why is that?
Because the original, because it's the rudest term, derogatory term for a woman.
Yeah.
Because the actual definition of broad, it's a butcher term, meaning a piece of meat with a hole in it.
Yo.
And when I learned that a few years ago, I think maybe 10 years ago now, I was like, stop the presses.
Yo.
That is the most disrespectful shit I've ever heard in my life.
I mean, I ain't gonna stop using that word.
Listen, in fact, it increased a little bit more, so it's like, you done broad. Like, okay, you think just like, oh, it's the 20s, yeah, see, you done broad, see, yeah, like whatever.
Everyone doing the Charleston and shit.
Yeah, like flapper dresses and shit, like, oh, the broads at the door.
Just doing what it is. Jay Gatsby.
Right, but when you think about it and realize that when they was using these terms to describe these women, it wasn't just, woman. Like, to me, in my head, it was like, bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's something on that level. Like, we don't like it, but it's not... It's one of those case-by-case basis type words about how awful it is to hear. So, but whatever. That's way worse. Please never call me a piece of meat with a hole in it.
It's pretty
Rude.
rough.
It's just bad meat.
It's just
Ew.
like...
On so many levels.
I realize like I have a look to my face that when my face betrays me most days. It's like somebody says some bullshit. I'm like, and I just have the wild side eye. That word is now giving me the side eye. It's like,
because you're going back in life on every moment you heard and or said broad, and you're like, geez.
At one point, this is ridiculous. I had a social media persona that I was some like dude from a bygone era, and I was like, it's just so many dizzy dames out here. And it's just like, what the fuck are you doing, Rob?
I love it. It's the best terminology. Like,
I'm gonna cancel for some goofy shit like that.
Yeah, somebody's gonna get to Googling on you. I personally am waiting for this to happen to me as well.
But so with that, right? Like, let's say a certain like unfathomable degree of like fame and notoriety presents itself, right?
Okay.
Because we're all from Baltimore, so. Let's say you get hit with something that's like, yo, this is going to be monumental. This is going to change it. When they come to you like, yo, you're going to get canceled for X, Y, and Z, or you got to clean this up. You got to like wipe your social media history. What is your like approach when fame comes to that level or what have you? What is your belief around that?
Well,
that's an off the cuff question, by the way.
No, that's not the weird one. That's a good one. Well, for me, I think it depends on what product I am.
Okay.
And therefore, based on what product I am, what demographic I'm supposed to be talking to. And in that sense, I would go from there to figure it out. Because I have a very, I'm not deleting shit type of attitude. I've been when I talk about sitting on the internet, me and my friends used to joke about how your true age is really internet age.
Oh shit.
Especially like for all of our generation and those younger than us, because we were born with the internet.
Yep.
So I was a little nerd, and like literally from the age of 3 and 4, back in
shit,
it's fine. Like the early 90s, I was already literally on the internet. So that being said, there's a lot of bullshit that I've deposited onto the internet. Twitter alone, a decade of just Yeah, I've had mental breakdowns on Twitter. I've like, talked to people, been on politics stuff, and that's what did it.
Yeah.
I am and have been, not so much now because crazy, been involved with local politics here for the Baltimore City Green Party.
Yeah.
And there have been a number of occasions when the chair or someone has come up to me in my DMs like, "Hey, Ducky, real quick, you just said this, and this. You're doing this. You might want it." And I'd be like, "No, fuck off."
Yeah.
Or I'd be like, "Okay." I have a big thing, especially in this era of all of this social media correction, owning yourself. And so it's like if I said something, number one, if I said something at the time I said it's because I wanted to and I meant to. That's number one. So I'm not about to go back and delete, hide,
suppress.
Right, like not really. But at the same time, I have no problem with people explaining themselves. And honestly, look, I just gave my age low key. I'm gonna be 33 this year. Ooh, yeah, I think something like that. I stopped counting after 30.
Yeah.
Truly after 25, so I'm often not sure anymore. But I think it's 33 this year. And I'll be damned if somebody really comes to my 33-year-old big age self with some tweet. I drunk tweeted when I was 22. Like, you're problematic, let's cancel you. Bitch, I didn't even have a degree yet. I have like a degree and some more. I've traveled the world. I've done this. I've done that. I've learned this. I've done that. Blah, blah, blah. Really?
That's the thing. Like, before the cancellation actually got to him, my approach, because I enjoy being provocative. I enjoy asking really wild shit because I like to press people's buttons because I think when you actually, as you said before we got on mic, which was very nice of you, oh, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
And I've had people who don't even know me. They listen to one thing out of context and I hate everyone. I'm this, I'm that. And
context is everything, and I don't understand why that's not something that's just not easily grasped right now.
And so, like, my belief was I was going to pull a wild like Louis C.K. before he got canceled, just like. I'm going to do this twice now. I'm going to do this again. I'm just going to go down the whole list of
the whole thing.
The George Carlin bit of these are the 7 words you can't say. I'm going to say them, and I'm going to say them in a different language because fuck you. And my thing is, it's just like, when you operate with certain individuals, like for the art that I'm doing, and maybe you can attest to this as well, when you collaborate or you work with someone, the thing that they do now is like cancellation, right? Where it's just like, oh, well, you did some shit with this person. We're canceling them. Why didn't you control their behavior?
Oh.
So that's the thing I have to be mindful of, especially like we do these live shows and we've done a few here.
The accountability of your adjacents is something that does step on you. I've had to deal with that before. Some could argue nowish, but the thing about that is it's part of the job. When you know if you have any type of common sense and you know what you know what this world is. So if you have any type of common sense and you're dealing with anything where you or a product you represent, and when I say product, I do mean artists, any of us. You know, as a comedian, any of the rappers, any of the DJs, blah, 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 blah. You're a product. We're products. So either you or what you represent, everyone is their own typhoon, period. And unfortunately and fortunately, as much as you can gain from the success of someone that you're, involved with, you can definitely fall down any number of the slippery slopes they also find themselves falling down in. And then you are also that same demon and evil. Because people, it's accountability, to a degree. But in my opinion, again, that falls on a big case-by-case basis because, you're your brother's keeper, sure, but my brother a grown-ass man. Yeah. So it's like,
you know what? I think you gave me a thing that I can say now because I always have trouble introducing any show that I'm on because I'm like, oh shit, go comedy, be entertaining or whatever, and you're right. We're products. We're this. We're that. We're presenting either a brand, art, whatever. Right. What's going on, consumers? Is your boy Robbie here? So let's start calling people consumers. What's going on, sheep?
No, that's it. No, sheep may scare people away.
Trying to get that wool, baby.
I mean, that's what it is, though.
It's rough. Sorry.
Oh, poor she. Peter's gonna be mad at you now. See, look, you're
See,
racking him up.
Mm-hmm.
That's good though. All you need is Peter to be mad at you, and then you're off.
Get that? What is it? Jimmy's famous.
That's the magical Baltimore meteor of success. That's the type of success we get. You know, getting large entities pissed off at us for being uncouth.
What's going on, dummies? Like,
fuck you mean, dummy? I love it.
So, all right. Let's see. Let's get into like your genre. Let's get into your stuff.
Okay. Whatever that is.
What are some of your influences creatively?
Ooh, creative influences. Well, certainly. Goodness, every DJ I've ever heard. I grew up here, good old Baltimore, Maryland.
East Side.
And you said East Side.
I'm East Sider.
Where? I've been in East Baltimore a lot recently because I started driving Lyft like all good DJs and musicians do because passion don't pay the bills. But
shit.
East Baltimore is really weird, man. I'm a Park Heights, West Baltimore type.
That's where my mom's from. So
okay, cool. So it's 20 minutes down the street, but I might as well be in another country. And
you're not wrong.
This has always fascinated me about this wonderful city. Like, it's right there, but it really is two completely different places.
And it's very hard to explain it to people. Like,
you think we're exaggerating? Like, we're just saying it. It's like, no. It looks different. It smells different.
It was 4 years in college, trying to explain that to people at Morgan. It's just like, it's like, yo, like, look, you're not New York, yo. It's like, look, East Side and West Side is very different. I just want you to understand that.
So imagine that struggle and conversation amongst the wonderful fellow black people. I went to Towson. Mm-hmm. So trying to have that same conversation, but from the county angle, ish, or just who knows, because these people from like Idaho or whatever, and it's like
potato ass.
Yeah, it's like I'm just not gonna explain it. Just trust me when I say, and trying to explain to them that even though Towson University is still York Road. Yeah. I'm like, y'all have to understand you on York Road. I'm like, but listen, you're on York Road.
Yo,
hop in the car real quick. Let's just go. Like 7 blocks this way, and they're like, "Oh my god, such a weird place."
Where's his legs? Right. Sorry, that's rough.
No, oh my god, that's not rough. That's good. See, more of that. Look,
I mean, when I leave from like, I live currently. I bought a house in the neighborhood I grew up in like East Baltimore, like not too far from Hopkins Medical Campus.
Okay,
and I see a stark increase in like wheelchairs and canes when I leave one side of North Avenue to the other. Like,
it's like a
what the fuck is happening?
It's like a switch, much like the switch. What is it? It's Northern Parkway in Cold Spring. That area, Northern Parkway and Park Heights. Once you cross that, it's just like the East Baltimore, West Baltimore thing. It's just a different Baltimore. Anyway, let me get back to the freaking question. Yeah. What are my influences? Yeah, so I was born and raised here, and the radio raised me a little bit too. You know, and I remember the first time I was just telling somebody the story. I remember the first time I heard a DJ blend and conceptualized what was happening with what I was listening to, because I always listened to the radio, so hearing, club music and everything, 92Q's been, back then we had V103.
Yes, we did.
You know, and, picking up also the DC station. I remember the first time I heard Go-Go, I was like, what the fuck is this? It's just drums.
I wasn't here for it.
Yeah. No, not so much. But I am now. I guess somebody told me old age did that. I don't know. Just like all the DC people start liking house music when they turn a certain age. We start liking go-go, apparently.
Okay. That sounds about right.
That could be a solid trade-off. I'll accept that. Go-go costs more. So many drums. It's like 22 drums.
I got into like house music, like, cause
house music's the shit.
Cause like my girl is older than I am, and like, it's like I was in college when this song came out, so she was like in like Spelman when like Doo Doo Brown came out and shit.
Oh shit.
And she was just like, I was moving to Baltimore, so it was down in Atlanta. I felt like it followed me up to Baltimore and shit. I was like, say more.
Baltimore and Atlanta, what's it called? The highway trade-off. It's like a secret tunnel.
Yeah.
We're like the same city. Like low key. But no, that was a big one. All right, so the art of that's right. I was gonna tell that story.
Yeah.
I was in 6th grade, and I was riding in the car coming back home. My mother went to pick up my father from work, and every night they'd let me listen to the radio. I've loved music since you could love a thing.
Okay.
So getting to listen to the radio in the car and pick the freaking station is a big deal
Yeah.
to 12 and 13-year-old Megan. Like, this is a big deal. All right, so they let me do this, and I'm listening to 92Q, and every night, Nick and Night.
Yeah.
That was the DJ. She had Hot 8 at 8. And if I'm not mistaken, it was K-Swift on the radio who had the mixed in as well.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, after Hot 8, whatever, DJs would DJ. Right?
Yeah.
Eventually there'd be club music. But on this particular night, I guess it was just a random cool night I caught it. They weren't just playing club music. They was playing music. And, wow, at this moment, I forgot what instrumental it was, but forgot about Dre was out.
Yeah.
And
It's fire, actually.
she was playing the Forgot About Dre. Oh, and I was the biggest Eminem fan
Yeah.
at the time. Me and Eminem have the same birthday. Like, you cannot tell me that, like, back then in 1999 or whatever, Eminem was not the man. And I don't have too much to say about his antics lyrically now. It starts to get a little hazy for me after like his third album,
like,
so
what
I
happened
don't speak on it. But those first three, that was my shit. And mixed it with some instrumental, and I was listening, and I was like, "What am I listening to?
Yeah.
This is not the song. This is that song, but it's with this beat." My best friend was in the car. She's like, "What the fuck are you so hyped for?" Like, she was really just kind of like, "What?" And I was like, "Yo, but do you not hear what's happening? Yo, there's oh my god!" And I was like, "Oh, a DJ."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Wow." So that kind of opened a thing for me that no. It didn't open the can. It presented the can on the shelf right in front of me.
Yeah.
And I stared at that can for years and never opened it. And that's dumb of me, but I guess it was one of those things that had happened because who are your influences? That is the technical answer. The non-technical answer. What's the name of the class? Is not that's like the practical. The lecture version is my parents.
Okay.
Both of my parents have a really, I'm not going to say strange, but unique taste in music.
Okay.
They both love music immensely, but I'll just put it to you like this. As a black girl, I ain't hear that much black music. Black music.
I dig it, yeah.
Black music, quote unquote. I'm doing the quote unquote
Yeah.
thing for our wonderful listeners.
Very commas.
Who cannot see, yes. Because my mother was very into like, pretty much pop music, you know, at the time. And my father was kind of too about daddy. Oh, I hope they don't listen to this. I mean, I don't really care. They know the deal.
They know what's good.
My father, who was it? There was the Jackson 5, and then there was the white version of the Jackson 5.
Oh, shit.
What was their name?
Were they siblings?
The Beach
Were they?
Boys.
No, not the Beach Boys, because there was more of them. Damn, why don't I remember right now? Terrible DJ.
Because I remember, like back in the day, like early 90s, like...
The Bengals? Is that in the thing? No, because there's...
Bengals were women, I think.
Yeah, that was girls. That's not that. Terrible.
Like Hazy
DJ.
Shade of Winter or something like that? No? I'm bugging. I don't know.
Man.
Music.
The point is, that was his favorite.
Sure.
All right, you feel me? He picked that over the Jackson 5.
I dig it, yeah.
So, eclectic is me, period.
Okay, yeah.
Because I had so much, as compared to my peers, a wider sense of music. Like, in all genres. Like, Big George Michael.
Yeah,
you know, like... Freaking, I was listening to Nine Inch Nails way earlier than I could. Because, mommy likes rap music. Rock music. She didn't like rap music too much. So, I'm growing up listening to Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
You know, and like stuff like that.
Spin it.
Pretty much everything except for what rap was doing at the time and hip hop was doing at the time. All of this is why if you ask me what kind of DJ I am, it's a really hard question for me to answer. And I'm happy somebody created the open format term.
Yeah.
Because I will pull all of that music. Inherently, I grew up into hip hop. Like, you know, I taught myself how to be black. It's excellent and wonderful.
Yo.
Like, no, and that was my relationship with music.
Yeah.
All the other music was given to me. That, my favorite rap music and hip hop and all that, again, much around the same time. By the time I was like 10, 11, 12, 13-ish, this is music I got on myself. I myself was like, oh, I want to hear this, and was able to find it. And then Napster came, and then I just been a pirate forever.
That's
And man, I found everything, and I held on to all that. Again, the can was on the shelf.
Yeah.
And eventually, I was given the opportunity, and it was like, no, I should have been a DJ. And my friends used to tell me that all the time. Like, what are you doing? Like, this is definitely your niche. Like, you love music too much. Like, and I just
like
it came when it came.
It's interesting. Like when you find, I guess, what your thing is that kind of goes left for what you're supposed to listen to.
Right.
So like, you know, as every black guy from Baltimore that's of a certain age, we had rap dreams.
Of course.
I was a terrible rapper in high school.
Congrats.
And but some of the stuff I was listening to was not really rap. Like I was listening to like The Doors and fucking like Santana, stuff that my dad was listening to, like, you know, when he was my age. And when I went to Morgan, like Dan and I, the genesis of our friendship came from me recognizing he was straight edge. Because I was listening to punk music and The Bravery at the time. He's like, how the fuck you know what that is? I was like, don't judge a book by its cover.
Right.
Meh, and just left, you know? And it's just that thing when you have just an interest in music and an interest in a genre, in different genres, you kind of just do a deep dive. So like,
oh my gosh, yes.
when someone's like, what do you listen to? I was like, it's just a tapestry of a bunch of different shit. Like I'll have fucking.
Like, what do you listen to? Music.
Yeah, like
all of it.
I've been listening to more jazz recently, but then it would be like classical music, it'd be like free jazz, then like classical, and then it would be like Depeche Mode and shit.
And the next thing you know, you're in a mosh pit.
Well, yeah,
maybe
too big for all that. Just want to start doing wrestling moves.
I mean, yeah, that's still the same thing that happens. You just start flinging punks out the circle. They're used to it.
So let's
Is there health insurance for that?
You've hit this. Jesus. Let's see. What would you say are 3 things you need to get into that kind of creative like scope? Like, look, I'm going to get this. I'm going to buy like these records. So happy. I'm going to get these songs as for what I'm going to be playing, or just to even come up with something. Like for me to get ready to do a podcast or edit a podcast or something like that, I need to not listen to any podcasts for one. I probably need some weed, and I need a drink. So, like, for you to get in your right rhythm, what are 3 things that you need to put out the best content that you can put out?
Well, what am I doing? Am I DJing or am I making music?
How about both?
You know what? How about both? Because it is when that came out of my mouth, I was like, why are you acting like it's not the same thing? Because it's the same thing, and it's the same process. So, okay, boom, let's pretend I'm about to go DJ a party.
Sure.
I smoke weed a lot. I kind of need to, quote unquote.
You get it.
It's not a quote, but it is the whole anxiety thing. The doctor said so. The doctor said it was fine. So
there was no quotes on that one, though.
No, there weren't quotes on that one. The doctor, not even the doctor, the therapist doctor was like, girl, go ahead. You do what you need to do. That's fine. Yeah, like if that's what. So there's that. And man, if I'm really about to get turned up and it's like, the weed is necessary, sure. But that is when it's like, okay, let's get some drinks. Like a shot or 2.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oof. There have been times that I have accidentally consumed a little too much. That's rare, and I know how to get through it. I just found that what happens is I can't see. So usually on stage DJing, if I'm DJing at like, say I'm like at the Crown or something, like the most frequent place that you might see me, just an average, like the freaking lights are so damn bright, and that's nice that they want to illuminate us so people see us sweating. All that does is make me sweat and blind me. So if I'm on stage, I can see like maybe the first 2 rows of people, and then I can see the bar in the back. Add alcohol blindness on top of that decreases this, so I can see people, but more importantly, my screen, because I use most of the time my laptop. Yeah, I can't see those words. I can't see those songs. So those have been times I've had a friend, and I'll be like,
"What's this one right here?
Find this song," and they're like, "Okay, type in it for me." I can't see. Load it up. Thanks. But no, that's pretty much it. And I don't want to make it. Saying that makes me feel bad though, because I don't want to make it sound like it's one of those things where I can't turn it up without I need alcohol, man. Like, because that's kind of lame. And it's a bad trap to fall into. And it's an easy trap to think that you're in as well. And it's kind of, I have fallen into that trap. It's like, no, unless this is like a kiddie party, because I've, DJ the elementary schools.
Get that juice box real quick.
Yeah, obviously that is like, no, we're sober, we're at work. We're like corporate events. That's a different mindset. But when it's like that type of party, it's like, are you really, really, really about to sit and act like, oh, I can't do this unless... Oh, that's so depressing, and it's so MTV behind the music later, and that's all I remind myself of. A funny thing about me, and it's true, because MTV raised me too. If you want to throw another influence into that, and I was MTV's biggest fan. August 1st, 1981. I had all the stats all the time. I was obsessed with MTV. I knew.
Got VJ trading cards.
Listen to me. I was like, this is where I'm going to end up. God damn it! If there's anything, I went to work for MTV. I wanted something. It was the greatest thing. But then music videos died.
That's an issue.
Internet killed the video star.
It's funny how that works, right?
And that went away. Rest in peace, MTV. But I forgot why I brought up MTV just now.
VJs maybe, or
it was something about an influence. But what happened? Thank you.
Boom.
See, that's why. That's why you're here. Man, because that's the easy one for me to lose, because that was really off. But anyway, every behind the music thing, every episode you watch, because I watched that, VH1's the same thing.
Yeah.
The story kind of goes the same way. It's like a parabola effect of, they start off and it's cool and everything's awesome, and they turn up a whole fucking line of the world tour and girlfriend, and somebody leaves, and then alcohol or coke or in any of the cool things, and then depression because somebody did too much.
Then it's hair plugs and tight jeans later. Yeah,
somebody goes to rehab, and after rehab, maybe they get back together, or maybe they don't. But the band's never the same, So I've always been like, okay, I have to always behave with the understanding that one day there may or may not be a behind the music story of Ducky Dynamo. You never know. And I tell people this. I told, when I used to consult for like a lot of artists around here, I would tell them that, like, when they got into their zone, and they're like, no, this is, what I'm doing. I'm booked for shows. I'm making music, or I'm on tour and stuff like that. It's like cool. But just remember, one day, or especially when fucked up stuff happens, like somebody's car get broken into,
adversity,
or those things. It's like this is one of those things. This is one of those things that they like cut and wait for commercial break, because it's like fuck, this happens. It's like, oh no, what's gonna happen next? So you have to hold on, but you have to be mindful. One day, some of this shit might end up in your behind the music story, and you do not want it to be the end of your behind the music story.
I had this running bit because I was on a Kanye West like coke rant at one point, and I was like, "Fucking podcasters are the next rock stars, motherfuckers."
That's right. We the culture.
I was just running my mouth and shit, and my boy was just like, "How many co-hosts have you gotten rid of?" I was like, "Fuck." He's like, "Your behind the music story is gonna be just different co-hosts." It's like, Rob just really got real loose one day, and he was drinking too much Japanese whiskey and smoking too much of the Kush,
the sake.
So I just want to see that happen. I want to get to a certain degree of fame that can happen, because I think it would be hilarious just to see, like, wow, we've come so far.
That's what social media did for us, though.
Yeah.
Social media made us those little rock stars, because that's how the hell people act, and that's how the hell people treat you, especially when you do get to a point where people know you. And as crazy as it sounds, my mother laughs at me about this. She's laughed at me about it for years, about the popularity thing, because I'm a people person, but if you know me, I kind of hate most people.
You get it.
A little bit. So me being a popular person, I always used to, like, people ask, were you popular in high school? And I would respond, popular by definition. In the fact that a lot of people know my name, and I know a lot of people's names. But in terms of popular, we, like, that just wasn't my shit.
Yeah.
But I am, over the past few years, got to the point where I literally can't go outside without running into somebody I know.
When I saw you at BlurCon, I was like, should I even say hello? I was like,
no, please. And that's another one of those things. I love seeing people that I know, and because I'm not, it's like different worlds of popularity because I'm a weird person, man, and I've been in a lot of circles, a lot of different things. I have a lot of different interests, and much like you were saying, when you find something you like, you dive into it. I will get involved. Like I said, I've been in politics. I've been in every club. I've been in every circle of video games you could find. Like, and just because I'm not bragging or anything. I hope I don't sound like that. That's awful. But but that whole so many people know you, that's just so many people watching you.
Right.
And the more people watch you, the more one of them people, just because of their perception of who you are, one of the hardest things that I've had to learn, and not hard in the sense of it was difficult to learn, but it was like, whoa, when it finally hit me, is people's perception of you, how much people watch you, and how much people actually not look up to you, but see you as a voice. Therefore, when you get to acting up on your normal Thursday night shit, they're just watching you like, oh my God.
Can't believe you would say that.
Yeah, and it's like, whoa, hold on. Like, I'm not...
Like, I'm a person.
Yeah. And that whole thing happens the more popular you get and the more people have access to you. Therefore, the more social media you're involved in. It's like stuff like that. And then, like, the podcast. So it's like people hear you all the time. It's like...
It's every now and again, like, when it comes to this thing, my brother is... He's like... Would you have that one dude that's not the yes man in your group? Yo, shit was whack, nigga. He'll say shit like that to me, but he's listened to every episode. He's like,
exactly.
Yo, I remember back in like 2012, right? You said this. I was like, why do you remember that specific factoid? And he's like, seems like your position's changed a little bit in the last 8 years. I'm like, all right, so this is what we're doing.
Shocker.
Yeah.
You know what's funny about that?
What's up?
Earlier, because I like to do research, definitely
You researched me?
Went on Spotify and I listened to, like, don't take me too many pokes on the phone for me to feel like finding. I definitely think it was like the first episode.
Okay, yeah.
That was like a long time ago.
It was forever ago, yeah.
And I was like, damn.
Yeah. When I talk to people,
And I say,
I've been doing it this long.
It has been that long. Oh my gosh. Congrats.
Well, thank you. No better at it, by the way.
For you to stick. I'm not saying it's like a bad. I made that sound because I was going to say for you to stick with it that long is like fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But I hate hearing that too, because then it makes it sound like, this is what you decided to do with your time. Right. And it's like, no, that's not what it's about. Because this isn't one of those, oh, you don't know how to quit type of things. And that's how people like to carry
it's
all of our art.
It's that Japanese thing that, what is it? I think it's ikigiri or what have you. It's like, this is the thing you get up in the morning, and it's the thing that keeps saying,
right.
All right, I'm still interested in doing this.
Right. It's the pull.
I used to get, and we'll be wrapping up in a bit, I used to get this thing when I was out there dating. It's like, oh, would you just record in your mom's basement like a loser? That was a thing.
Right. And it's like, watch it, and then...
Yeah, I mean, I had, we did Light City, like, when Light City happened or have you. And
the first one?
The most recent one.
Okay, the last one.
And one of the guys that was running things, he was like taking people under his wing or what have you, and he said some real spicy shit to me. And he was like, yeah, you're kind of a beta male or what have you. And he said that spicy shit. My whole attitude changed.
Is he from here? How dare?
He's relatively local. And
Sheesh.
I was like, look, motherfucker, one fucking minute. And he was just like, oh, okay, that's your line right there. And I'm like bigger than him, but we're close to the same size. He turned into it's like when a dog's tail is between their legs. He's like, all right, we'll leave podcasts alone for now. Moving on to acting.
Right.
I was like, I'm not an actor, my G. Let's move to something else.
There's that perception thing.
So in it, let's see. I got like maybe 2 questions, and then we're at the social medias and all of that good stuff. Okay. So people can come after you and bug you and all of that.
I love it.
So I think you kind of touched on it, but maybe expound if you like. What would you say is a piece of advice that maybe you got in pursuing some of your creative ambitions that you feel like you would impart on someone that's chasing their thing, that thing that just, that you're like, all right, I'm always going to look back at that. And when I'm having like a down in the dumps or some adversity or whatever around it, this is what told me to keep going.
Staying true to yourself.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
The fun trick about that is none of us know who we are. It is always constantly a work in progress. So the important thing about that is to check in every so often and be like, am I still doing the thing that I want to do? Did it change? Did it grow? Did it shrink? And then recalibrate as necessary. Because a lot of people will get stuck on, look, like, say you today at the end of this was like, you know what, Duck, you inspire me. I want to DJ. And I'm like, okay. And we teach you how to DJ. And so now you about to be DJ Rob.
That'd be
That's
amazing.
today. That would be awesome. Look, I teach you. Look. But 6 months from now, you're not going to maybe necessarily have the goals if you learned and was able to do stuff. But you might just only remember that.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's really important to stay true to who you are right now and don't feel bad if that's not who you were 6 months ago, because you're not a traitor or anything.
Yeah. That's a good piece of advice. It's one of the things that you talk to the different therapists in the therapy circles. They was like, are you being congruent with your values?
Right.
And that's the thing that you got to check in.
They can change, and especially again, we're talking cancel culture, and we're talking, if this is money.
Yeah.
Is this something you're doing? Is this what's keeping lights on? Is this what's feeding the babies? Is this what's keeping gas in your car? That'll make you. Oh, shit will change so quick.
Like, I told these motherfuckers, it's like, y'all die for this shit, throwing mics at people.
No, for real. It's like when this becomes something that is, when it crosses the hobby gap, it's really, 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 really important to understand that. And then understand that people are going to treat you differently.
Yeah.
It's hard being oh no, I need to put food on the table in a circle of, yay, this is what I'm just doing on my Wednesday nights because I have time to, LOL, mom's paying for it, type thing. And vice versa, when you're just here because it's something you want to dabble in, but you're in a room full of, sharks who live and breathe this shit, it's like, so, that's one of those things. Stay true to yourself, and kind of everything else I've found, if you do stay true, will more or less fall into place for you. Hopefully. Unless you're just off your mark in the beginning, but...
That's good. Thank you. And the last question I have, it's more of a shameless plug opportunity.
Cool.
So what do you have coming up? Shows, all of that good stuff, social media, all of that good stuff.
Okay.
Boom, bam.
So I'll do the social media first. Man, all right. Social media is really, really interesting and easy because my social media is Ducky Dynamo.
Okay.
On everything. I made it that easy. I don't have 1,000 underscores.
Doing it for you.
Or like that. I did. So that's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, even good old Mixcloud, Spotify. I do actually have a song on Spotify.
Good shit.
A club song.
We should use it for the intro.
It's actually an intro song. Oh my gosh, you could. There's children in it.
Fine.
I'm exploiting the youth. They're all happy about it, though. They told me. Shout out to the Philly girls rock camp.
Good shit.
That I hang out in every summer. But anyway, so find me there to find my jams. And especially follow me on Instagram if you're interested in seeing where I am, because that is where I post all of the things coming up. Tomorrow evening, I am DJing a friend of mine and another friend of mine's 30th birthday party at this awesome place.
Yeah.
And people should definitely come. Again, look on my Instagram for that, because it's one of those things where we don't, with the addresses sometimes.
Hit the gram for the latest.
Places, hit the gram for the latest.
Actually, that should be a tagline.
It should. That's it. Next week, on the 12th, I am DJing a party. It's called The Function, hosted by Josh Stokes. It'll be an Invisible Majority. That's where Black Star hangs out now.
Really?
Yeah.
Good shit.
In fact, I'm DJing with him. Woo. This is a Wednesday night turn up, though. Not though. Right. So it like depends, because some people are like, oh, Thursday I'm old. On Wednesday I'm old. And some people are like, woo, Wednesday.
Washed
it's the new
Wednesdays.
Friday. Listen. It's okay. Like, if you just come out for the happy hour and then that's it. And then next Saturday I think that's Saturday, 14th.
That sounds about right, yeah.
Yeah.
Because Friday the 13th.
That's right.
Yeah.
Is it?
Man, and that's when this episode will drop, by the way.
Damn. Spooky. Okay, well, pretend I'm saging the room, and I wish everyone health and wealth and protection from the tricks of dexophobia folk.
Bruja.
That's right. All that. Cast spells. I am DJing a all-lady type lineup event. It'll be at a fancy place called City Beach.
Sounds about right, yeah.
You can find that. It's there are performers, there's DJs, but again, we're all ladies and beautiful and hot, so it's going to be
Pull
uppy. And then that's all the plugs I'll do. I think that's all I remember. Y'all can book me for more things. That's fine too.
Hit the IG for the latest and greatest.
Yes.
Well,
That's it.
that's all I have.
Okay.
I want to thank you for being on Getting to the Truth in This Art.
Thank you.
For Ducky, this is Rob Lee saying, man, art is everywhere in Baltimore. You just gotta look for that
Everywhere. You can't not miss it.
shit. Later.
Later.